Friends, do you feel like you've been media trained to within an inch of your life? You can't even speak for yourself anymore. You're so tied down by those talking points and that very precise way that they say you've got to speak to command the attention of the room. Guess what? The story's in you. You don't have to be somebody that you're not. You know when you watch the videos back and you go, gosh, it doesn't look like me. That's not how I sound, is it? You kind of don't really like how you present on camera because it just feels like it's not you. It's not the real you. Friends, that's the old way of doing things. There's an entire industry built on that principle that you could present in this way. People would lap it up because you sound like you're an authority in the space. And really, friends, this is just the cage that's holding you back from connecting, really connecting with people, letting them see the real you. And the value of your story is just off the scale. Now, never before has your personal brand, your story of who you are today, been so vital to get right. And this is the work that I do with C-suite executives all over the world, is enable them to recognize the value of their own story, to amplify their leadership through that narrative, because our work, it's never really spoken for itself. It's never been a great advocate or an ambassador for us. Sure, there's KPIs and all those other, you can talk about the return on investment, everything else. What have we achieved at the end of the day? But in terms of leadership, setting vision, values, rallying the team together, corporate culture, that all comes from those intangibles, that real executive presence. That's your leadership. And when you combine your vision, your values, your purpose with your story, watch out. That is what is really going to set the world on fire. And now how to do it in the most time efficient way, because really no one's got time to be making videos constantly. Those marketing teams that come in, they do that day where they take over the boardroom, they bring in a tripod and an auto cue and lights and microphone, and they wheel you and all the executive team through one at a time to record your content. And it might be for an internal newsletter, or maybe it does go on social media. But it's just that batch record day where on that day for that quarter or that month, whatever the messaging is that you want to get out there, that's the day. And it feels so time consuming. There's so much effort that goes into it, and that's before you even start to think about the cost of it. And friends, your smartphone is all you need. Project V is what I've discovered, what I've put together as a coaching program after 30 years working in mainstream media. As a nightly news reporter, as a producer of documentaries, as an occasional presenter for a short period of time. I've sort of done it all. I started off working behind the scenes as a sound recordist, and I've seen the value of video from all those different angles to create community, to build emotional connections with people that is just unparalleled. And so when it comes to putting yourself in the story, gathering reaction interviews from other people, and capturing the moments that are happening around you, I can show you, friends, how to do that all just using your smartphone. There is no one on this planet who can better tell your story than you. Yes, there are other professionals who can ghostwrite things for you and they can come in and do it, but it all just ends up taking longer and not being quite right. It's not quite you. Now, I'm not saying don't have people help you tell your story, but at the end of the day, it's got to be your voice, it's got to be real to you, and people can tell when it's a bit of a robot or a corporate puppet kind of just parroting the company line. It's so inauthentic. So friends, I want to take you beyond the slogan of authenticity and show you how you can show up as you really are. Connect with people like never before using just your smartphone. Now, this is about doing more than social media content. This is about developing a three-dimensional personal brand that will really let people see the real you. But it's also about thinking about this communication style for direct internal comms, for strategic communications with other stakeholders, with staff teams. There are so many opportunities. And when you think about being time poor, busy professionals, and not having time to even read the script that somebody else has written for you, that disconnect that happens. They might be your words, it might be your ideas, but somebody else has written a script that you've got to try and memorize and deliver on camera, and suddenly you feel like it's not even your own words anymore. You're so disconnected from what you're saying. It doesn't have to be that way. You're the expert in being you. Now just have the courage to show up as yourself and be authentic as you connect. All of the things that I learned as a busy nightly news reporter, showing up at a crime scene and having to go live on TV around Australia for all the commercial networks within minutes with very little preparation. How to show up with a level of confidence to convey. Well, for me it was about letting people know the news. For you it's about showing people who you are, and whatever the update, whatever the scenario that's playing out around you, how to be authentically you and connect with your audience. Friends, the problem I was talking about at the start of this video around legacy media training that really kind of brings you to a command position of articulating a certain way, of owning the space, of commanding the room, and just sticking to the talking points no matter what the questions are. It's just rubbish. Nobody buys that. Nobody believes it. It looks and sounds like every corporate puppet that's ever stood up there and just towed that line. It's inauthentic. It doesn't really resonate or connect with people. In fact, the intangibles that really help make connection and build respect are just so far removed from that approach. And so this is all about the mindset of a storyteller, is what we're talking about here. Seeing the value of your story, combining that with your purpose and corporate values, and sharing that with your audience. For internal comms, for social media content, personal branding is massive now. It is an incredible opportunity to show the vision and the values of your organization for all sorts of strategic purposes. And when you start to dabble in this space, you will be amazed at how, when you are pressed for time, it's no longer the limiting factor. Yes, there are massive financial benefits that come from creating content this way, just using a smartphone. But I don't really even want to focus on that so much, because, you know, it's okay to spend money on communicating well. But when you can do this more authentically, when you can really lock in with the audience by showing up as you really are, from your real voice, and when your purpose is clear, that is what enables you to make this content when you're time poor. Because more often than not, you're the one who's there in the moment, in the spur of the moment, when things are happening around you. How to be spontaneous, capture the moment, see the value of the story that's unfolding around you. There's no point going, oh, we should get a camera crew back here next year when this happens, so that they can record it. Just capture the moment now. How to do it efficiently. And friends, I can even show you how to edit the content yourself, because outsourcing it ends up taking more time than editing it for yourself. Is the reality of it. That's where we get you to with the mindset of a storyteller. So I would love to start a conversation with you and your organization, not only about the cost savings that are here to be had, but how busy, time-poor professionals can do this efficiently. It also means that you can show up with a real agility and respond to the circumstances that are changing around you. One of the other business models that we've seen consistently for a long period of time now is, a batch record day, where you might bring in an external consultant, a marketing team, to come in, and they might take over the boardroom and sort of set up an auto cue and tripod and lights and everything else, and it's scripted, and they, as we were saying before, and they will give you that content. It might take a week or so before you get a number of videos that have been edited for you, and either you or your team can then post it. The problem with all of that, though, is that the material is only relevant really at that time when you're recording it. A lot of messaging changes and shifts, and when it comes to being responsive to the circumstances that are most relevant to your audience, timeliness is a massive factor. Agility is kind of the idea that we're getting at here, being able to post content that's relevant, timely, and it won't go stale on the shelf, which a lot of that content recorded that way has a tendency to do. So friends, let's start a conversation around the mindset of a storyteller, how it can shift the dial for you, elevate your executive presence and your ability to connect with people in a genuine way. As I say, everything I've discovered after 3 decades in mainstream media, from all different aspects, I can now bring to the table and coach you in this, using just your smartphone to show up like never before. Let's chat.